Hello, my name is Nadia Soroyan, and I'm going to be doing the industry analysis for Avon. So, as a little introduction, um, we began on we began by deciding on an analysis by the industry or the strategic group. So the strategic group was narrowed down to just direct sales instead of the entire cosmetics industry. And the reason we did that was because it developed a power for us to be able to manipulate the competitors in the industry and how they sell their product. For example, other cosmetics companies don't direct sell, can be too large scale to compare. Direct sellers that don't rely on storefronts to sell their product and rely on representatives that buy and sell their products, those are the companies that we included in our industry analysis. So a list of key rivals here are Mary Kay, Stella, Dot, Ever, Huffa, Arbonne, Labelle, Genetics, doTERRA, Posh, Nerium International, and Monat. Some cool things about these competitors are like 3000 BC actually makes all of their skincare products. A lot has a very small startup cost, so um, people starting with a lot don't have to pay that much, but they have a really high commission. A priori specializes in anti-aging products. Bathology specializes in custom scent blends for bath products, not like something that Avon does. Jamberry Nails offers an array of nail products. Avon also doesn't have that. Beauty Counter gives talks and lessons to customers about their products. Papaya uses 100% all natural ingredients in their products. Birchbox and Ipsy, what they do is they provide monthly subscriptions that send their customers boxes with different brands of makeups, and it just goes right to their door. So these companies are all direct selling cosmetics firms around the world, and that creates a lot of competition for Avon. They're all relatively new, but most cater to a younger crowd, in which Avon can no longer do. There are hundreds of certified direct selling cosmetics companies. Though there are so many firms that are competing with Avon, one thing that they're almost all of them are lacking is reputation. So with a big company like Avon, it has more to do with switching suppliers than it does um, worrying about switching costs, or they don't worry about their customers switching costs. It's more about for them, their suppliers could be switched. But at the same time, Avon doesn't really have to worry about that because they have um, says here that they um, don't really have to worry about suppliers because they do most of it in-house. So Avon has a storage space right out of Atlanta. It's about 360,000 square feet, and 2/3 of the space is receiving dock and bulk storage, and the remainder is shipping. It holds about 6,000, 8,000 different items on the floor, and Avon spends 55,800 a year processing orders. So as you can see, the storage and fixed costs for Avon are minimal. Market share growth is decreasing while market share concentration remains large. Reputable name compared to hundreds of other startup direct selling cosmetic companies. There are so many direct selling cosmetic companies that specialize in many different areas that customers can choose from multiple companies and no longer see a need to stick with one direct seller. So in essence, the market share concentration for Avon is large, but it is being beat by not one direct seller, but hundreds combined. So the barriers to exit for Avon and other cosmetics companies include high research and development costs. Due to the high costs associated with developing cosmetics products, it is difficult for firms to leave the industry without earning their money for the product, meaning that they have to sell almost everything. They have to get rid of everything in order to break even. There are also many machines and equipment used in developing cosmetics products, and having to dispose of all of the products and machines like this is very difficult, and that makes it a very hard exit barrier or barrier to exit. Substitutes of makeup and products sold by Avon. There's permanent makeup like or eyeliner, tattooing for eyeliner and eyebrows, tanning, lip injections, airbrushing, Botox, eyebrow, cheek, and lip filler, permanent eyelash extension, nose jobs, and those are just some of the few that are growing rapidly. And they started in big cities like Los Angeles and New York City, and they've been expanding across the United States. So the power of new entrants, for the power of new entrants, the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act regulates products, and this would act as a barrier to entry because of the knowledge of this um, law that companies would need to enter, and a lot of startups probably aren't well versed. There's also a Fair Packaging and Labeling Act, and where it specifies that you have to put the exact contents of the product and everything having to do with it on the label for consumers. And this is another barrier to entry because these startups need an understanding of how this law works with the cosmetics industry, and it can be very difficult to comply with. Every company in the cosmetic industry has patents. Many cosmetic companies have over 200 patents. The only way for a company to enter would be if they truly had an innovative chemical makeup for their product. The rising trend for cosmetics sales is to be online, but a lot of these sales are done through retail stores. It's very easy to start a website and begin making sales by use of snail mail. So to get a retail store with your product takes a lot of time and effort. That's a lot worse than just starting up a website. Customers, however, are very loyal when it comes to their cosmetic use. Avon carries a name of recognition, and the process of taking customer loyalty, it could take a number of years. For example, there's something called pink meetings that Mary Kay does, and it's to draw a new not only customer but also representative base. It's very informative. They have very informative talks. Another thing is economies of scale, and that helps the cosmetic industry due to a decrease in cost per unit. So the more a company produces, the lower their costs are per unit. New entrants are most likely not able to order in bulk yet. So it comes down to market share and the number of products being produced. So basically, whoever's making the most products is going to receive the most decrease in unit per product. So the power of buyers. Avon's buyers are its customers, so buyers make up the entire portion of Avon's output. The threat of backward integration is somewhat low because representatives are not going to start selling their own makeup products with such few resources. The representatives must be informative with every product. They have to be very specific with their customer base. And the buyer to seller concentration needs to be large. So Avon would want to have at least a few buyers for every one representative to signal there's a large demand for the product. To maximize the profits and ensure a higher revenue from the exchange, concentration changes since Avon is finally evolving to another market, for example, online and e-commerce. Suppliers are all over the world, and Avon has really strict rules with their suppliers. Um, and that being said, Avon really doesn't have a supplier issue because they are vertically integrated. So this allows them to control their cost and production process, and Avon uses third-party suppliers in addition to its own manufacturing facilities. That's what I was talking about before, and it does this to produce various cosmetics. There are various factors that go into creating makeup, and there are big differences between brands. For example, pigmentation, texture, duration of the item, and many more things that set them apart. But product standardization can be extremely difficult for a brand to uphold when it's using multiple third-party suppliers for its ingredients. So because Avon is a main supplier of its cosmetics, the consistency and standardization of these products are relatively easy to uphold. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for bearing with me, and have a great day.